Yay! I got my package in. And today, we're going to check this out. So I went online and I did some research. And I decided that it was high time I figured out another way to be able to do some work around here. I am horribly abysmal at using my normal sewing machines. So I bought a leather sewing machine. Okay, so this is gonna get messy. And I don't know what's gonna happen if I do this. Hopefully, it's all gonna stay together. Oh, those things are everywhere. So I did a lot of research before I bought this thing. And literally everyone who's gotten one sings their praises. So it's a really simple hand crank sewing machine. No motor, no battery, no electricity required at all, which I like. I'm interested in this part of it. That is just greasy and delightful. So we're gonna bust into this thing. Oh yeah, there's styrofoam everywhere. The workroom's gonna be covered in this stuff. Okay. So that's it. It comes with this little package, which has, it looks like the bolts for this, and a couple of bobbins, and actually a bunch of needles, which is really cool. So the thing's pretty small, which I really like. I don't want like a massive piece of machinery. And it works on a hand crank. You'll see this wheel has these grooves, which, if you look here and here, you've got a couple of arms that articulate. So this one is going to actuate the bobbin, and this one's going to actuate this top thread. And it looks like what I'll have to do okay, this is actually like a really cool way to set this thing up. So I'm gonna have to install this later once I have a stand built for this thing. So I'm going to be working in this part. I want you on the wide view just to see how I'm kind of laying things out. So I know I want a piece here. Question is, would one of these work? Yes, cut out a little bit. So I'm going to pull this camera off and kind of plan through everything really quick, and then I'm going to come back and show you what I'm doing, because I don't have a clue what I'm doing, and if I keep going at this pace, this video is going to last for like 3 hours while I just wrap my head around what has to happen here. So I'll be back in a minute. I have it threaded. I have a bobbin in it. It's ready to start stitching. I made this quick little stand for it. I didn't want it on that crappy tripod that it came with. I'll find something else to do with all that scrap. I went ahead and covered this post with some leather just to make it a little bit nicer to deal with when you're sewing. And I've got some leather scrap here that I'm going to try stitching up. I'm just using a simple nylon thread, and I don't know this machine yet, so I'm a little bit nervous, but we're going to try it. So one thing I wanted to show you is that you can get this pressure foot up and you can actually move it. It rotates a full 108 or 360 degrees. And this is a really cool thing about it, is I can now swivel this thing to catch a back stitch. Holy smokes. Yeah, I'm just gonna run and I'm going to leave this at 12 o'clock up top. I'm going to bring up my pressure foot. And I'm going to kind of pull some slack. And then I'm just going to cut that. If you want to take a look at things, that's what we're looking at. So I've rethreaded the machine. I'm using a really thick, like, upholstery thread. And so I want to know if this stuff's going to work. I'm really hopeful, because if it will, I don't want to be using this, like, this basically looks like black fishing line in real life. I don't know what it looks like on video. I don't want to be using that for my leather work. I've got this really nice poly upholstery / quilting thread, so I'm going to check that out, and we'll see how that sews. All right, I'm going to get the press foot down, and got this angled the way that I want it, and let's see what happens. Yeah, my distinct impression was right. I was not sewing through that bottom layer there. But, holy smokes, that stitch looks good. Alright, so before this video rambles on too long, let me give you my final thoughts on this machine. If you're digging what you're seeing, do the subscribe, do all that stuff. I don't want to beg, but please, I'm begging. That really helps out any YouTube channel. The fun part about YouTube is you get to control what you watch and who gets money, and you can do that simply by watching. And that's a really cool thing to me. So if you subscribe and like and comment on videos, you can actually help people that you appreciate and that you think that you respect make money, which I'm a long way away from, but every little bit gets me closer to that. So, final thoughts on this thing. I'm in love. One of my least favorite things about a real sewing machine is how much it feels like there's a disconnect between me and the machine. The foot pedal, the fact that it just, you know, brrrs off and just gets crazy and goes super fast, super quick. I'm not super confident with that. I just used the word super a lot. Ha! Anyway, back to this machine. This, since it is a hand crank, I feel like I have a lot more immediate control with the thing. For me, the movement's a lot more intuitive, mainly because I'm not very used to a foot pedal, and this thing doesn't go as fast as a sewing machine, so it's a lot easier of a learning curve, at least for this guy. I'm going to do a lot more research on the thing, oil points and all of that. I didn't show you how to thread this machine. I didn't show you how to change needles. I didn't show you how to do anything, you know, getting the bobbin set and all of that. I learned all of that from a video on YouTube, and that guy did an amazing explanation. And so there's no reason for me to cover what he went over really well. And it's It's not the shortest of videos. It's about a 20-minute video, but it shows you a lot about these machines and helps you learn how to thread your bobbin and everything along those lines to really get set for success. I knew next to nothing about this machine when I unboxed it and started setting it up, and I watched a 20-minute video by that dude, and I feel confident with it now. So I'm going to have that linked in the description. That was awesome. Other than that, I'm wrapping it up. This thing's great. I'm excited to start producing some really cool projects with it. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to, lining stitches up properly, setting seams right, all that stuff. But I'm really stoked to see where it goes. And I want to thank you so much for joining me for this ride. As always, have an amazing weekend and please continue to be excellent to each other. I'm going to go do dumb stuff.